I hear it. Yeah, I remember. I served much after you. I remember like a $350 or like $400 like check every 2 weeks.
Right.
You know.
And then they sit there and tell you, oh, but you can eat for free and you got free room and board and
It's
all
free.
this.
Yeah, but if you quit your job and everything, you go to prison.
Thank you.
But it's free,
That's the other thing. That shit ain't voluntary. I'm sorry. Once you sign,
yeah.
If you quit, you will be treated like a felon.
Right, like a felon. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's
which
crazy.
is gonna put you in that class.
Yeah.
Once you're a felon.
And they'll have employers judging you, like you are a felon, even though like they never served, right? Yeah. Like for instance, you go UA, you get dishonorably discharged for going UA after 2 years and everything, and they're like, "You're a shitbag.
Yes.
You're dishonorable discharge from your country.
Oh,
you
man.
didn't even serve your country." I'm like,
You
"You
ain't
even
shit,
served, bro."
You ain't shit.
Oh no,
Like,
but
dude,
you're still a
have
scumbag.
you ever went through basic training, period?
Right? It's just wild. So, you want to do a taper?
Yes. Let me get the one with the table,
Okay.
and that's covered.
Absolutely. We'll talk about this beer for you as well, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll call them the professionally offended. Okay? Yeah, but the professionally offended types and everything will never want to have a conversation of any sort of substance or truth about slavery. Never do,
No.
Yeah, they just want to, victim blame and, tout the situation that they're in, currently in their life on the events of like 150 years ago or whatever. It's stupid. It really is. And here's the thing is, right, these people don't even realize that they're still slaves.
Yeah.
Okay, right? So they're talking about, white people enslaved, black people in America like 200 years ago or whatever, And I'm like, do you pay income tax, bro? Like, what do you think that is? That's a levy, that's a straight up levy of your income.
Which is not voluntary.
Which is not voluntary. Correct.
They
Yeah.
try to say it is, but it ain't.
So that was the thing, is like people don't get it. It's like when they ended slavery in the United States, they were like, oh shit, we fucked up. How are we supposed to do shit? We don't have like this giant slave force of people anymore. How are we supposed to get hellish shit done? Right? Well, that's when they dreamed up the income tax. And they effectively turned every person into a slave. Like that's their solution. Guess what? Everyone's a slave now. And who gets to be the person who is not a slave? Who gets to be the master class? Well, that's the people who are rich enough to hire a CPA and a bookkeeper to put their money into different, baskets so they can do tax avoidance, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And then, they make the tax codes so complicated and like filled with so many loopholes, right, that, you need to be basically a bachelor's degree to understand it.
But it goes back to the rich.
Right. Yeah. Who still get to be the master class, right?
Yes.
It's just like with extra steps. So I have a belief. I've always thought this. You know, I think that capitalism will be the boot program for like a techno-communism. You know, I think that eventually capitalism will become so efficient that people will be like, we don't even need money anymore. Right? And when we get to the point where we're like, we don't even need money anymore, people will start whispering, why do we even need a government? You know?
Yeah.
And what will that look like? You know, that'll be like a subscription to Frito-Lays. And you get to live in Frito-Lay land, you know, on your subscription, you know, and what do you do for that and everything? You basically, you know, you live in like an AI powered, you know, robotics city. And you become kind of like a member of a resource based, you know, city state pretty much.
Well, Meta already tried that. Except they rolled it out wrong.
Yeah, more or less.
Because they didn't have the infrastructure.
Right, you know, but I mean, this stuff will come with time, you know. And I'm not saying I like think it's going to be better. I just think it's going to be different. The people that are scared of different, there's a hell of people that are always scared of different or whatever. I'm like, you know, you're sitting here and you're so fiercely holding on to, you know, things staying the same. I'm like, are things the same as, you know, when you were a child? They're not even close, right?
Right.
You know, like technology has like changed the world, right? And did you die? No. You
No.
know?
And
Like life moved on, you know?
that was my whole goal for my kids,
Right.
is change is gonna come.
Right.
The best lesson I ever learned from the Army was adapt.
Exactly. That's a saying is from the Army, adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't control that.
Correct.
So, observe, adapt,
Right.
and get in.
Yeah, or be prepared to get out of the way, for sure.
Yeah,
Because it's going to roll you over if you try to fight it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But once you got that understood, then it doesn't matter what comes.
Yeah.
You'll
Well-
figure it out.
One thing is for sure, don't ever look to the government to make some big change in society. That ain't where it's going to come from.
Not in my lifetime.
Not in mine either. Yeah, the innovations we've made with cars, the innovations we've made with computers, the innovations we've made with consumer goods, you know, logistics, all these things. These are all the things that have changed my life. The government has not, you know. If anything, the government has just made all of that shit harder.
Well, look at our space travel now.
Right. With the private space travel.
Yes,
Yeah.
leaps and bounds. Man, look, government and NASA couldn't even get back to the moon.
Right. Well, they had no incentive to make it cheaper. Is why. You think about it, you know. They had no incentive to make it cheaper, you know, because like there's all this corruption and they make all this money off these government contracts, and the more money they waste, the better.
Right.
You know what I mean? These private companies that were like trying to basically like compete with each other to get satellites into low Earth orbit cheaper. You know, they made all these innovations and everything because they have a profit motive. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the beauty of capitalism.
Yeah.
Government doesn't care about capitalism.
Well, eventually capitalism's gonna get weird
Yeah.
because like they'll be like, okay, so, you know, we can't make a profit, you know, because everything's automated, nobody has money, right? You know, so what they're gonna have to do is like, okay, we're gonna secure resources, right? You know, and people are resources too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, the techno-communism thing, it'll be subscribers. You know? You won't be a citizen anymore, you'll be a subscriber. What do you think? You think that's the future?
We're already going there with streaming services.
I think so. You know, that's where we get all of our information, right? Got YouTube Red.
That and apps on my phone.
Right.
In-app purchases.
Right. I don't know, I have to tell you, you know, anybody who's picked up a social media at any time recently just knows, like, how intimate of a relationship you have with your algorithm.
I've known that.
Yeah.
In fact, I knew about that a few years back. I've started tweaking.
Yeah, I gave up being creeped out by it. Now I try to control my algorithm.
Exactly.
You know,
That's the secret.
yeah.
You can.
Right.
Right? But that's part of that adaptation.
It feeds you what you give attention.
Exactly.
So what do? If it's softcore porn, swipe.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of my face with that.
Exactly.
You know, like
And then when
motivational content, like,
and then you start weighing
yeah,
all of that and watching the algorithm take effect.
right,
Because your feed is gonna start leaning.
yeah. I think it's kind of funny. It's like, it's really funny actually. It's like, you can gauge the mental health of a friend by like taking a look at his feed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, you got problems. You know? You know what chakras are?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Eastern philosophy chakras.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 7 chakras. The lowest chakra is the root chakra in Eastern philosophy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And guess what root chakra, you know, pertains to? It's all the earthly shit. It makes a lot of sense. You know, you hear the word root, right? It's all the earthly shit. You know, that's your money, that's your outside influences, all the stuff is outside of you, right? And you know, in the spirituality context of chakras, you know, they talk about being overactive in your root, being like the lowest vibrational version of yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I think about a lot. And that's why I try to make sure that when I'm on my social medias, I don't give that earthly shit any attention. So when people have like the cool car, or the look at me on my expensive vacation, or on all this crap or whatever, I don't give it any attention.
Just swipe on past it.
Swipe on past, yeah. You know, and then it's like the second lowest one is your sacral, right? That's the one that has to do with like sex, you know. So you got your overactive, you know, like sacral.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, you know, I'm addicted to porn or something, you know, right? And I every time a woman comes onto my algorithm and her booty's shaking or something, I'm like giving it attention, you know.
Right.
You gotta let that shit go too. You gotta let that shit have power over you, you know? You know, let it take your power, like, let it take your attention. That's something, it's like, it's not just social media, but it's life as well, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Your life becomes what you give attention.
yes, but that's part of the maturity.
Right.
I mean, I can say that shit now because of my age.
Right. You know, when things start to get a little more positive as you go up the chakra list, you know. Your solar plexus is your personal power. That's number 3. How you can be like healthy in that is you control, you know, your attention, you control your energy, you take it back, right?
Right.
But if you take it back too much, you know, that can put you in a state in which basically you're guarded from everything.
Right.
You're not no longer experiencing life.
The defense is up so high
Yeah.
that you're not bringing anything in.
Right. This is something, it's like, I've seen this with spiritualists, you know, ones I care about too, where they'll start to pull back their attention and pull back their energy so much that they stop living, you know, and they become like isolated little hermits that are only live in their minds, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just, that's a sad thing too. So this is kind of the theme, is like all these things are important, but it's important to like keep them in balance.
Right. There is a balance.
Yeah, and I think like, I really wish that there was more understanding or more of a focus that people had on the chakra system, because becoming a healthy spiritual person, right? Like the map is right there. It's right there, you know, because you know you got these 7 chakras, and there's 3 states to each of them. One is like where it's overactive, one where it's depleted, and one where it's balanced, right? And to get yourself into a space where, how you doing?
How you doing?
Doing great, man. So through the double doors to the right. I'll see you shortly. Get yourself into a space where, you know, you're experiencing like life to its fullest, you know, and you're having the most amount of spiritual growth.
Right.
You gotta balance your chakras, pretty much.
So my yoga instructor introduced me to all of that
Yeah.
when she got me into the mindfulness.
Yeah, it's a beautiful practice, for sure. Mindfulness.
Yeah.
I spend about 4 hours a day in mindfulness. Towards the end of my day. And I've been doing that for about 2 years, and I think I'm getting to the point in which I've experienced enough growth to kind of pull a little bit of that back and start focusing on living a little bit too.
But see, you just hit on it, right? Because I'm on my little spiritual journey.
Yeah.
I spent all of these years just surviving,
Yeah.
that I want to start living,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people don't get that.
Well, I think something that a lot of people miss in their spiritual awakening, is that spending time in nature is a form of meditation.
Right.
It doesn't have to always be you alone in a quiet room. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's bad.
Sometimes you just want to watch the branches of the trees
Mm-hmm.
flow with the wind.
So, I spend a lot of time thinking about God and trying to communicate with God through synchronicity, right? And one of the fastest ways I've found to communicate with God is to actually go out and interact with people, places, and things. It ain't gonna happen with any amount of speed with you sitting on your butt on the couch,
Well,
Of course, it happens there too, but it's the people, places, and things that seems to be the place where you get your accelerated synchronicity. And synchronicity is kind of like a Catholic concept that everything is kind of in the divine plan of God. And that if you look at the world, you can see like the voice of God like everywhere, basically. That's kind of how I feel. Where do you look for the voice of God, Mike?
so
You got a favorite place to connect?
yes and no, but part of this spiritual journey that I'm on
Yeah.
is me being in the social work program at UNR.
Right. That's a good one. I've always talked about that. One of the fastest places that I'll find like the voice of God is when I interact with homeless people.
So that's the other thing. Starting next week, I do my orientation to volunteer for NAMI, which is the what is it? A National Alliance for Mental Illness.
Yeah.
So I can have group sessions with people in need.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's me doing my calling.
Yeah.
That's my talking to God,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, like I always tell people, yeah, I'm not the kind that feels the need to pray.
Yeah.
I just say thank you. Because what I got.
Yeah.
Right? Just say thank you.
I
That's
think gratitude is like definitely like one of the overlying themes to all like spiritual tenets,
Right. What is it?